Before we get into today's edition of Just the Truth, Mike Lindell sent me a note yesterday. He has a special for the 6-piece towel set, $25 when you use promo code Joey. Just go to mypillow.com, use promo code Joey. You'll get the $25 offer on the 6-piece towel set, and I promise you, these will be the most comfortable, the most absorbent towels that you own. mypillow.com, use promo code Joey. Get the 6-piece towel set for just $25. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson Bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson Bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
Welcome in, as this week is going to be a little bit different as I share with you my journey on the Patriots Alaska Cruise with my buddies Mike Gallagher and Sebastian Gorka. We left Seattle, Washington on Saturday, spent the day at sea yesterday, and what fun we had getting to know about 400 enthusiastic patriots who listen to talk radio and who are interested in the future of our country. Yesterday, Dr. Gorka and Mike Gallagher hosted a town hall-style meeting. Listeners were able to ask questions and join the conversation about the direction our country is taking and the importance of November's general election. Throughout the week, we're going to have group gatherings like this. Mike Gallagher and I are scheduled to talk about our trip to Israel back in March. We have other great events scheduled along with the wonderful port cities that we'll be stopping in along the way. As we left Seattle Saturday and were at sea yesterday, we traveled through the Puget Sound. We saw ice-capped mountains, remote islands with these gigantic Douglas firs, and there was Mount Rainier hulking behind Seattle's skyscrapers. I mean, what imagery. I mean, what beauty. We passed the San Juan Islands and saw eagles, harbor seals. We spotted a few whales along the way. I'm not sure what kind, but I'm told that there are orcas and humpbacks in the area. Today, we're at Stevens Passage, and it's like the best shortcut in the world, a straight line through southeast Alaska and a landscape that comes from, it's just like straight lines. Everything is straight. It's not only people and ships that use the passage. It's concentrated in and around its waters is the greatest hits of Alaskan wildlife. Again, humpback whales, giant sea lions. We're seeing it all. It's my first trip to Alaska. And boy, what a wonderful, wonderful time we've had so far just on this is day 3 aboard the Holland America ship. The southern reaches of Stevens Passage, where we are today, it starts at the edges of Frederick Sound. It's one of the best whale watching areas in the state, we're told. The sound narrows as you're funneled into the passage, and we're kind of getting to that area today. The mountains just come right down into the sea. The water of the passage is deep. I mean, it's like 1,000 feet in some places. But in this landscape, cut by the last ice age, you really have to measure to the mountain peaks for true scale. They climb to 5,000 feet in some areas. So from the ocean level to the top of the peaks, 5,000 feet. And their slopes are covered with forest. Meadows are just beautiful. I'm telling you, God did a good day's work when he created Stevens Passage. And if you've never been here and have the opportunity, let me encourage you to do so. Be sure and follow me on social media. Many of you do, but if you don't, take a few minutes now and find me on social media. I'm on Facebook. Just search for Joey Hudson, Instagram, X, and YouTube. I'll be posting along the way because I want to share with you my experiences here. You can always text me also on the Furman Ford text line. I'll continue to check my text, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. That's how we can stay in touch on the Furman Ford touch line, and I'd love for you to join me on this fantastic journey. As you might imagine, the internet service is not always reliable on this cruise ship, so I'm going to do my best to keep you up to date. But this week's episodes are going to be a little bit different because I may not be able to be right on top of breaking news, but we're going to share some good stuff along the way. Before I go any further, before I left, because, you know, cruise ships are just loaded with good food. So I made a phone call, and I spent a few minutes on the phone with Dr. Ashley Lucas with PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. Because, as you know, I'm coming up on 4 years this week. July the 4th of 2024, right after the July 4th weekend was when I started my journey with PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. I was able to lose 30 pounds, and I've been able to maintain that weight for 4 years now. And I want to continue. So I talked with Dr. Lucas about how do you go on a cruise, but yet stay true to the things that you've taught me through PhD. And that's what I love about the program, is because they do give you lifelong skills about your relationship with food. If you're looking to lose weight and get healthy, PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition is the program for you. It's a health-based nutrition plan designed by Dr. Ashley Lucas, a PhD nutritionist and licensed registered dietitian. PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition teaches you to change your thoughts about food. You'll never be hungry, and there's no chasing down crazy expensive injections that make you sick as you're losing weight. PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition is a natural, healthy way to lose weight. Don't wait another day before you start. Go to myphdweightloss.com or call 864-644-1900, 864-644-1900, and set up your consultation today. So I've gone into the archives and pulled some of my favorite recent interviews that I'll be sharing with you each day this week. As time permits and as technology permits, I'll be adding some additional stories as well. Today, I want to share with you my conversation with Cindy Hips. Now, if you've been listening to me for any length of time, whether on the radio or podcast, you probably heard me talking about Tucker Hips over the years. He's the young Clemson student who was killed in an early morning fraternity run at Clemson University. No parent should have to get the phone call that Gary and Cindy Hips received telling them that their son had been found in Lake Hartwell. Here's Tucker's story. Tucker was pledging the beta chapter of Sigma Phi Epsilon, known as SigEp, at Clemson University when he died. 3 brothers and 27 pledges, including Tucker, went on an early morning run across Highway 93 bridge at 5:30 a.m. on September 22nd, 2014. Tucker was discovered missing before 7 a.m. when he did not respond or did not report to the fraternity breakfast, and his phone and keys were found where the brothers instructed the pledges to leave them before the run. The pledges started looking for Tucker around 7 a.m., but did not report him missing. A call was made to campus police by one of the brothers at about 1:45. Now remember, he went missing, and they knew he was missing sometime early morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock, in that range. They did not report him missing until 1:45, asking for information concerning Tucker, but did not file a missing persons report to the campus police. Sadly, Tucker was found floating in Lake Hartwell just under the bridge at approximately 3:30 p.m. that afternoon after one of the brothers led campus police to his whereabouts. It was noted earlier by the brothers to police Tucker was wearing blue tennis shoes. Discovery of his body in the lake yielded blue tennis shoes showing out of the water with much of the remainder of his body submerged. Witness testimony revealed Tucker, as the pledge class president, was instructed to bring 30 biscuits, 2 gallons of chocolate milk, and 30 hash browns to the run, which is delegated to another pledge. The biscuits were not brought, and it is believed that Tucker was forced to walk the railing of the bridge as a punishment when he slipped and fell to his death. The run was an event that would have been considered hazing under the policies of the National SigEp organization, as well as under the rules of Clemson University. No one has ever come forward to say what really happened to Tucker, but eyewitnesses' accounts puts a boy on the bridge railing while 4 to 6 others were running beside him yelling military-type commands. No one has ever been arrested or charged in the death of Tucker Hips. The case remains open. Tucker was a great young man. I knew him personally. His mom, Cindy, and I have served on the board of directors of Crime Stoppers of Greenville for many, many years. And this is an open case that Crime Stoppers throughout the entire country will take your phone call if you have information about it. You can call 844-71-CRIME, 844-712-7463, and give information and remain anonymous and be eligible for a cash reward if that information leads to an arrest. Tucker had a passion for helping others who were less fortunate and would give his own money to these in need. You'll hear his mom, Cindy, in a few minutes tell some of those stories. He was a senior counselor of Palmetto Boys State, where a scholarship has been established in his name. Tucker loved everyone, and everyone reported that he was their best friend. Tucker made funny faces. He captured by many who continued to share his photos. He loved taking pictures with his girlfriend, Katie, and his parents feel fortunate to have so many of these for their memories, fond memories. Tucker was athletic. He played soccer, baseball, football, basketball. Most importantly, Tucker was a young Christian man, and he shared his faith with many. Portions of today's show made possible by Discounted Appliance Warehouse. If you're replacing a broken appliance or maybe upgrading your kitchen, Discounted Appliance Warehouse is the place to go. They have over 1,500 appliances in stock. You can buy today, use today in many cases. Find them online at dawpickens.com, dawpickens.com. I had a chance to spend some time with Tucker's mom, Cindy Hips, recently. Here's my conversation with Cindy. On our guest line today, Cindy Hips, a longtime friend of mine and mother of Tucker Hips, who lost his life in a hazing incident at Clemson University on September 22nd, 2014. Cindy, welcome. Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm great, Joey. Good morning to you as well.
So let's talk for a minute before we get into the great things that you are doing through the Tucker Hips Memorial Foundation. Let's talk for a minute about how we got here and that horrible phone call that you and Gary received in September of 2014.
Yes, Joey, I'll never forget that day. It still haunts me to this day to try to figure out what happened to Tucker. You know, a lot of the things that we've done over the years, I'm still seeking the truth. I will never give up wanting the truth, but that was a terrible day, and it certainly changed our entire life and the trajectory of my personal life.
Yeah. Tucker was pledging a fraternity at Clemson. Now, you know, did you guys have any idea that these types of things went on and these types of activities? My understanding, he was on an early morning run, and this was really not something that the fraternity should even be doing. Is that correct?
That is correct. And Gary and I both were in college, but neither one of us were in the Greek organizations, and we knew very little about them. We did know that there was particular things that went on, activities, and so we had conversations with Tucker, but, you know, we researched the organization that he was going to join, and they were supposed to be following the Balanced Man program, which means they didn't even do pledging and hazing. But that was not so with the chapter at Clemson. They prided themselves on being a traditional chapter. And so we later found out that there were lots of hazing activities going on.
Yeah.
But no, we didn't have any clue about this culture until, you know, even I still keep learning about it, and it seems to continue. It's been almost 10 years. And we're still hearing about hazing. Now, has the numbers dropped? Yes, because people are more aware. Social media makes it out there more. And when there's an incident, it's reported on the Tucker Hips Transparency Act. So that brings media attention to it. So I feel like we have less incidents in South Carolina at this time, but the culture is still there. It's still going on.
So what do we do, Cindy, to change that culture?
Well, it's really threefold. So we definitely have to have accountability, and we definitely have to have people being educated about it, parents and students and faculty needs to be educated about hazing. And it starts so simple, but by the time you get through the process, it's too late to turn back, or you feel like you've invested all this time in a process and you don't want to quit, and that's when it gets really intense, and that's when kids die. But as far as accountability, South Carolina, we still have the Transparency Act, so we see that information, but we need legislation to up our current bill to provide the piece where universities have to do the education and where we have a tier level accountability. So if someone dies during a hazing incident, then law enforcement has the means to go out and really do a great investigation, because it could be a felony. And so I really want to get South Carolina up with the other states that have made hazing a felony.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned transparency. Talk with us about that transparency, because you have been very active in the state of South Carolina and throughout the nation, actually, in networking with other parents, and we're going to talk about that in a moment as well. But you lobbied for the passage of the Tucker-Hips Transparency Act. Talk with us about that.
So after Tucker died, and we found out more and more about this culture, we just felt like we had to do something. We felt like we were kind of pushed into this place with what happened and the things that we knew. We needed it to be out there. We needed people to know. And so we met with some of our local legislators and had a really great meeting. And Joshua Putnam is the guy that said, well, we need transparency. And so, because we were talking through what we thought we needed. And so that's how the Transparency Act came about. And so we presented that legislation, and, it went through all kinds of changes, and which was really good because the universities got involved, and they, wanted certain elements added to it, which was really great because they knew more about it than I did. And so the first time, it was truly a miracle that bill passed, but it passed at the last minute with a sunset clause. Mm-hmm. So after 3 years, we had to get the bill passed again. So we had to go through the entire legislative process once again to get it passed permanently, and that was in 2019. But essentially what it says is that public universities must report their not just hazing, but sexual assault, any kind of aggravated battery or anything that's involved with the social organizations has to be reported on that. Just recently, I had this guy contact me that wants to do a study, and so I need to talk to him about that, because I want somebody to really take a hard look at the reporting on that versus the Clery Act, that their safety report that they have to do every year, and to see if we are truly getting reporting on those other elements, not just hazing.
Yeah. So
there's so much we could do with this information, and so many ways that we can improve it.
Yeah. Well, so do you feel like that with the Tucker-Hips Transparency Act, do you feel like parents are taking advantage of that? And had this been in place prior to Tucker going to Clemson and pledging the fraternity, do you feel like that would have helped you and Gary potentially to help advise Tucker on whether or not to become involved with this particular fraternity?
Absolutely, because we found that this organization, once we did the civil case and went through depositions and got documents, we found this organization did have issues and were not following their national organization's Balanced Men program. They were doing things kind of rogue on their own. And so, yes, I think we would have uncovered some things about that organization that we would have said, no, this is not a good organization. And even, Clemson didn't even know all the things going on with this organization until it was brought to light by Tucker's death.
Yeah, yeah. On our guest line today, Cindy Hips, the mother of Tucker Hips, who lost his life in September of 2014 in an hazing incident at Clemson University. You and Gary have been involved in a network of other families. Unfortunately, as you mentioned a minute ago, Cindy, this is not an isolated incident. This happens all the time, it seems, that every few months we hear of another incident like this on another college campus around the country. You have stayed in touch with a lot of these families, and all of you together have created this network of families with the idea of educating other parents on what the possibilities are. Do you feel that's being effective, and has that helped you deal with the loss of Tucker, being able to talk with these other families who've experienced very similar incidents?
Yes, Joey, it has. It really has helped me in my healing process, talk to all these other parents, and feel like we're doing something good for the community, good for our state, good for our country, to try to eradicate hazing. And there's lots of people out there working on this. I mean, not just, I'm doing very little compared to a lot of folks. One of the families that their son died at Rider University has been working on a federal bill for about 9 years now, and seriously, it's almost done. And I just got a report this week that it could go across the finish line, and it's the Stop Campus Hazing Act. And literally all it does is add hazing to the Clery Act that's already reporting all the other things on campus, like sexual assault and battery, all those things, drugs, alcohol, but it doesn't report hazing. So that's all this bill will do. And so I'm so thankful for our South Carolina legislators, because they have kind of spearheaded this because of me and helped the Diversleys hopefully get this across the finish line, because they're working with the Clery Center, they're working with the National Campus Safety guys, and we even now have the national organizations on board with this act. There was 2 different acts, one that they were presenting and one that the parents were presenting, and so now that's been combined. So there's really no reason. It's a no-brainer to me. I say that over and over again. It should pass.
Yep.
But yes, doing all this has helped me heal.
Yep. You would think that there would be no opposition to this type of legislation. However, that's not the case. You have met opposition. Talk with us a minute, and on our guest line today, Cindy Hips, mother of Tucker Hips. How could anyone oppose legislation like this? It's really just going to put teeth into this. That's going to create real, hopefully will really help these types of incidents not occur in the future, because there's going to be some real penalties involved. Why would anyone oppose this? And who are you getting opposition from?
Well, we've asked that same question. There was about 20 of us met with Amy Klobuchar, and she's the creator of this version of the bill. And I asked that question in the meeting, and she told me that it was the universities. But then when I go and talk to our South Carolina legislative folks, they tell me they've not heard any of the universities in South Carolina not wanting this to pass. So I'm not sure what universities is against it. And what we're told is they're already reporting this information. It's just them reporting one more element that they should be reporting anyway.
Yeah.
But all the states don't have a transparency act like Tucker's. His was the first, and then Pennsylvania adopted it. I think Georgia's adopted one. And so little by little, each state keeps adding that piece. But that is, all the universities across the country do not do this.
Yeah.
And so it's going to add some extra work on their part with the educating and with the reporting.
Yeah. On a guest line, Cindy Hipp. So you have formed the Tucker Hips Memorial Foundation, and in full disclosure, I proudly serve on the board of directors with that. It's really been a nice thing for me to be involved in that, because we've been able to raise some money through golf tournaments, and most recently, in the past couple of years, you've added a bass fishing tournament, and been able to donate some money to some very good organizations doing some good work. Tucker would be proud of that, wouldn't he?
He sure would. I tell you what, that boy, Gary and I talk about him a lot, of course, and one of the things that we remember is him downtown Greenville. A guy was wanting some money for food, and Tucker opened his wallet right there in front of everybody. He had $5, and he gave the man his $5. And it just blessed my heart, but at the same time, that makes it's a safety concern too. That he
Sure.
just opens up his wallet. And then after he passed away, his girlfriend told us that they actually took a man to lunch with them. They were on a date, and he said, well, just come go with us. And so they took the man to lunch with them. But he would be so proud. He really would.
Yep. And one of those organizations is Palmetto Boy State, because that was a very special organization to Tucker. Talk with us about the support you've been able to provide to Palmetto Boy State.
Well, we just finished up the encampment of Palmetto Boy State, and so Gary and I always go on Friday night. That's their closing ceremony for the kids, and it's a great night. Some of the kids get to showcase their talent, and it's amazing some of the talent that these kids have, and some of the things that I have never seen before. I mean, we had one guy, I think this was last year, with the Rubik's Cube, and he could solve that Rubik's Cube in under a minute. It was just amazing. But so Boy State, he loved Boy State, and he had been called back for his 4th year. So when you're in between the 11th and 12th grade, they somehow, depending on the area you live in, choose students to attend Boy State. And it's a leadership program. They actually go through the different elements of electing a mayor, a senator, and then they go on to elect a governor. And so we met the new governor this year, and so they hold elections. It's really neat, and each group of boys is represented. Their name of their group is a river in the state of South Carolina. So I know Santee was one of Tucker's last groups. But you go as a citizen between the 11th and 12th grade, and then 42 of those boys, depending on their leadership abilities, are invited to come back as a junior counselor. And then a small group of those boys are invited to come back as a senior counselor, and then you can be a senior counselor for up to 3 years if you're invited back. And so he was invited back for his 4th year, and he just always said, Mother, don't make any plans for that week in June, because I'll be going to Boy State.
What a great story. If you'd like additional information about the Tucker Hips Memorial Foundation and Tucker's story and how you can help, go to tuckergives.org, tuckergives.org. In the fall, there'll be a golf tournament. Next spring, a bass fishing tournament as well. And if you'd like to participate in those, you can, again, find information on the website, tuckergives.org. Cindy, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for all that you and Gary do, and appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Joey. I really appreciate you as well, and I hope you have a great day.
You too, Cindy Hips. The thing that is so frustrating to me about Tucker Hips' case is someone knows exactly what happened that morning. Some of these young men know, and they're not talking. Someone could help Cindy and Gary Hipp have whatever closure is possible for a parent who has lost a child the way they did. If you have information about this, because we're not giving up, we know that someday the truth will come out. This is still an active case. So if you have information, please contact Crime Stoppers. You'll remain completely anonymous. Just call 844-71-CRIME, 844-712-7463, 844-712-7463. Again, you will remain completely anonymous, and you could be eligible to receive a cash reward if your information leads to an arrest in this case. Hope you'll join the conversation today. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Send your comments to the Furman Ford text line. You can leave a quick voice message, and your emails are always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Furman Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Furman Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Furman Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Furman, Matthew Furman. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Furman Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Furman Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Furman Ford online at furmanford.com, furmanford.com. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined our mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Just click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, find me on YouTube. Be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on my YouTube channel. Just search for Joey Hudson. Appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day with me. Be sure and forward this edition of Just the Truth to some friends. Just click on the share button. Send it to a few of your contacts, because if we're going to build our community and we're going to win in the June primaries, and if we're going to win in November especially, we got to build an army of conservatives. The way we beat Joe Biden is through educating people, and no better way than encouraging them to listen to Just the Truth. Hey, keep those comments coming via the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Your emails always welcome as well. Joey@joeyhudson.com. Don't forget to take advantage of the MyPillow special, $25 for the My Towels 6-piece